Shalom lekulam, and welcome to this introduction to the meditations of the counting of the Omer. This lesson is called Practical Guide to the Counting of the Omer Meditations. And in this lesson, we're going to have an overview of how to make these connections during the workout that we do these 49 days of the counting of the Omer that lead to the holiday of Shavuot. A very important thing that I want to mention is that make sure that if you have the time and you would like to watch the lesson on Kabbalah and the counting of the Omer, in which in there I go in depth of what Kabbalah teaches us about the counting of the Omer. That lesson, which I did in a previous year, it's tied to this one. So you can watch this and then watch that one, or just pause this and watch that one, and then come back to this lesson. Whatever you want to do, but make sure you watch that one, and that way you can have more insights into what the counting of the Omer is all about. In this lesson, I'm going to concentrate on the meditations themselves. I'm not going to concentrate on the secrets behind the counting of the Omer and all that, even though some of what you're going to be hearing here and seeing here, you're going to also see it on the other video. It's just in more depth over there and the reasons why. Okay, so let's start to give a little introduction of what is this counting of the Omer all about. So a very important thing to keep in mind is that the counting of the Omer starts after we celebrate the first day of Pesach, right? In Pesach, what we have is the people of Israel, they attain what is called freedom. And in Shavuot, which happens 49, or we would say 50 days after Pesach, it's where they attain this level called Torah. And this level called Torah, which is the illumination of the vessel by the light of the Creator, was attained in a process called Har Sinai. Har Sinai is a mountain of Sinai, which is a mountain of hatred, because Sinai is hatred, right? And they needed to come together as a nation, as one man, one heart, in order to attain that level of Torah that will fulfill this vessel called Israel. Israel, as we know, we read about it in the Torah as a nation, but Israel is not a nation, a political nation like we see today or anything like that. It's also a spiritual nation. It's a group of people that belong to this group of people that want to go directly to the Creator. Yashar El. Yashar El, Israel, right? Yashar means directly, and El is the name of God, El. So those who want to go directly to the Creator. The Torah was given to the people of Israel in order for them to perform actions in this reality that we call Mahut, or the kingdom. And this is the process of what Pesach is all about. We need to get out of our egoistic nature, represented by the Pharaoh and Mitzrayim, which is Egypt. And then when we attain this liberation, this freedom in Pesach, we start attaining 7 dimensions that will take us to that level in which we can perform miracles, if you want to call it that way, or manifest things in our physical realm, in the realm of Malchut. At the end, as we're going to see, we're going to end up with the vessel of Malchut, within Malchut, Malchut the Malchut. And this is because that's where the whole completion, the whole action of our internal traits, the working with these internal traits is going to lead us to, is bringing down all this light into the physical realm and manifest it for everybody to attain that same level of liberation. So when you attain this mastery of these 49 forces that are necessary to achieve that level of 50, which is the 50th gate, that gate of Bina, which is the gate of bestowal. When we attain that, we are bringing down the qualities of that level Bina down to our level of Malchut, in which what we're gonna see is that we're gonna start manifesting this desire to share, desire to give and bestow to others, and do things in for the love of others. And what we're gonna see is that we're gonna start first with, just like in the beginning, right, of creation, the creator, if you're studying Kabbalah, you can understand that the creator started with the level of Chesed. The Sefirat Chesed started with mercy, and then the second day was Geburah, which is restriction, justice, and things like that. So we're gonna work on that within ourselves. So we're like trying to recreate these 7 days of creation in a different level, in a different way within our own soul. What you're gonna see here also, and we're gonna see that as we study the Nekudim, is that there are 3 levels working. Is the Nefesh, the Ruach, and the Neshama. And depending on this meditation, depending on where we are in this meditation, we are actually at the same time having this intention of thinking of how I am bringing this light down from, we're going to see from the name of God to the Ana Bekoach to Psalm 67. So at the same time as we're doing this and doing this counting of the Omer, we're doing this work, internal work in our traits and our midot. What we're doing is also, it's analyzing how we are also relating not only to ourselves and others, but how we are relating to creation and to the Creator Himself. When we achieve that level of Malchut the Malchut, then we're ready to achieve that 50th gate, which is called Shavuot, and the giving of the Torah, the giving of that light, fulfilling, the vessel. And what we're gonna see is that as we practice this every year, we're gonna gain more insights. And when I say insights, this is not insights because you're getting it from somebody else, somebody like people like me or somebody else, teaching you about the Sefirat Ha Omer or the counting of the Omer. You get insights, internal insights, because you're working on yourself. This is you. This is for yourself. And this is something that you're going to bring down to the level of your own Malchut in order to manifest it into the whole physical realm, which is the collective Malchut, the collective vessel called Malchut. Okay? And Malchut, the Malchut, remember, that's, if you're studying the zohar with us and everything, Malchut, the Malchut, it's basically the creation itself. What the Creator created is that basic level or more physical level that exists in creation that we need to correct and we need to participate in order to be co-creators with the Creator. Now, these 49 energies that we're going to analyze, like I mentioned, is for every person to acquire different sensations and different attainments of the light for themselves. And it's supposed to be done every year, right? It's a method in which we build up on what we learned from previous years. So what you learn this year is the foundation for the same practice that you're going to practice next year, and how that is going to help you become a better channel of the light on earth. The action in the most dense level of spirituality, which is matter, cannot be realized by the level called nefesh, which is what we call the animal level or the animal soul in a human being. But it can be done by the ruach. And the ruach is the emotional part of our soul. So what we're going to see here is that we're going to be working in these different aspects that have to do with our emotional and how we react to our own physical reality. When we analyze these forces that we are trying to tap during this Sefirat Ha Omer, the first 6 weeks we are in what we call in training or in the usage of that level within ourselves called ruach. So this ruach can then control or acquire some kind of a connection with our nefesh, which is our animal soul. If during the first 6 weeks we attain this balance in the ruach, we only need 1 more week in order to attain a balance and good connection with the level nefesh, which is acquired basically on the 7th week. And in this way, we're gonna see that this level of the emotional level, which is the ruach, and the animal level, which is the nefesh, are gonna be at the same time connected to something else, to the neshama, right? Because the neshama is there, it's the one guiding the whole purpose, but it's up to us to correct the midot, the traits that are necessary to connect these 3 levels as one. So think about that, okay, as we are studying this. So let's do a brief introduction of about what is the Sefirat Ha Omer, how these 7 weeks actually are going to work. So during these 7 weeks, what we're going to see is that, to start, let's explain first what you're seeing here is that each week has a sephira, okay, and each day has a sephira as well. So depending on the week and the day, that's a kind of midot or traits that we're gonna be working on, okay. So let's start talking about what we see here. So week 1 belongs to Chesed. So the first day is going to be Chesed de Chesed. The second day is going to be Chesed or Geburah de Chesed. Then Tifaret de Chesed, Nefesh, Netzah de Chesed, Hod de Chesed, Yesod de Chesed, and Malchut de Chesed. And then we go to Geburah, we're going to see that once again the first day is going to be always Chesed, the second day is always going to be Geburah, the third day is going to be Tifaret, and every week, okay? But the same thing, week 1 is Chesed, week 2 is Geburah, and all that. So we're going to have, between all these days, you're going to find that in week 1, day 1 has the full energy of Chesed. In week 2, we're going to see the second day has the full energy of Geburah. Week 3 has the full energy of Tifaret. Week 4 has the full energy of Netzach. Week 5, the whole energy of Hod. Week 6, the whole energy of Yesod. And this is, when we get to Yesod, this is when we are supposed to have already corrected or worked on our emotional traits. So when we get to week 7, the Malchut, we are actually working on our level called nefesh, which is our animal level, right, or soul. And that week 7 has the whole force of Malchut, the Malchut, which is manifested at the 7th day, which is the last day or 49th day of the counting of the Omer, the Sefirat Ha Omer. Okay? Now, use this as a guide, because it's very important to know what are you working with. And as we meditate on these 49 days, there's going to be, I'm going to do an introduction before the meditation of what are we going to be working on that day. And then we're going to do the meditation, okay? So in that way you have a good understanding of what's happening. Now the question comes, and I have these questions myself when I started working deep into the Sefirat Ha Omer, because I heard from one rabbi that if you miss day and you're on day 3, let's say you miss Geburah of Chesed, then when you get to Tifaret Chesed, you cannot do the counting here. Then I heard from a Kabbalah teacher, in Kabbalah, there's no time, there's no space. If you miss these days and you're on day 3, you might as well do the Geburah of Chesed. Because even though this day is more auspicious for the Tifaret Chesed, you can still have a connection to the day before, because in spirituality there's no time and no space, right? So make sure, if you miss one day and you couldn't do the meditation, still do the meditation the next day, and then complete the meditation with the meditation corresponding to that day in specific. You might miss the most auspicious day, but that does not mean that you need to stop what you're doing. Some people get discouraged. I couldn't make 1 or 2 days because I was too busy, or something stopped me from getting these meditations done, and they stopped making the meditations the whole after the whole Sefirat Ha Omer. They just miss everything because they say, can I continue because I'm missing one midot, right? It's not correct. Just continue the next day with the one that you missed, and then complete it with the one that is corresponding to that day, okay? Okay, so one thing that we need to keep in mind is the following. And I'm going to show you the meditation first, give you an idea of what you're going to be seeing. So, in the meditation, it's going to be shown this way. You will see different schools, different teachers showing you probably the same thing a different way, or doing a meditation that is totally different than what you see here, okay? And that's fine. You go with the meditation and the connection that you feel that fits your soul, okay? There's no perfect way to do this. The one that I'm using is the one prescribed by the Arizal. I arranged it in my own way, but there's other people that have arranged this in the same thing in a different way. And they have even prayers and included in the meditation and all that. I'm trying to make it more simple so you can have the connection without the whole thing, because there's a lot of people that study Kabbalah and they're not Jewish, so they don't have to go to the whole motion as we do, those of us who do the whole prayers and that kind of stuff. A lot of people don't have that. So we're going to do this as simple as possible for those who want that connection, because in reality, what you want is a connection of the day. You want to make sure you have the right intention of the day and all that. So this is how you're going to see, and you're going to see different letters, and you want to know what it is all about. This is what you're going to be explaining here, right? Right now, what we're going to start is explaining these little dots in the letters, on top of the letters, right? Sometimes they're inside the letters. Sometimes they're underneath, inside, or on the top of the letter. Like this one is inside. In that way, you know what that dot means, okay? So let's make sure, that we understand that first, what it is all about. So let's use as an example this chart. In this chart, we're going to see that these dots are actually sounds of vowels, and that each of these sounds or vowels correspond to a sephirah of the tree of life. Okay, so and they have names as well. Okay, so we're gonna see that in Keter we have the kamatz and it sounds ah. All right. In Chokmah we have the patch, which is also a sound as ah. Then we have the tzerei in Binah, and it sounds like eh. In Chesed, we have also the segol, which sounds like eh. In Geburah has a shva, and shva, when you see these dots here, they're silent. All right, so um, you just like the va would not be a ve or va. It will be v. That's it. And here it will be vo because in Tiferet we have the cholam. The cholam is o. Okay. And then we have the chirik, and the chirik is one dot, and that dot is underneath, and the chirik is the I. And remember what I told you about the neshama, the ruach hanefesh. We're gonna see that these letters are in the top, right? But you don't see anyone in the inside only when you get to yesod, because yesod, we got Hiri, we got kibbutz are underneath as well, which is u. And yesod, the shuruk is actually a letter that means that is an impregnation, that is inside the belly. Okay, so this is why you see underneath, top, underneath, and the ones in the top is actually in Tifaret. The ones in the bottom, this is the difference between Yesod and Tifaret, is that that one is in the top and the other one's inside. But Yesod is important because this means that there's a womb, there's something that has been impregnated, and where is it that is going to this baby, if we want to call it that way, this fetus that is inside the mom is going to be born. It's going to be born in Malchut. The Malchut, as you can see, has no vowels because they are all included. It has all the vowels in itself. However, it's totally silent. But in reality, it's not silent at all. It manifests in many ways, right? This is the secret of why we gotta watch what we say when it comes to Lashon Hara and things like that, okay? So keep that in mind, especially in the Sefirat Ha Omer. We're gonna use everything from Chesed down to Malchut, okay? And if we, let me go to, if we go back to the names, as you can see, everything that is above, we only have Tifaret here. We things above. Tifaret has the neshama, and when we look at the chart, Tifaret is the third week, and we need to keep that in mind because we will see a mix of different dots going. Some dots are gonna be below, some dots are gonna be in the bottom, some dots are gonna be in the middle, in the top, and they're gonna be mixed during those days. And you're gonna say, but he said, that if it is netzach, that should have a chirik in all those in that day, right? For example, in the first day of the Omer, we have Chesed, right? Chesed. So we have these little dots in here, right? We go to Chesed, and we see, oh yeah, there's a goal, right? It's there. However, then if we continue our meditations, you're gonna see a dot here, and a dot there. And this is for the Psalm 67 part. So where is that dot coming from? It's coming from Netzach, right? It's coming from Netzach. What about the dot in the top? It's coming from Tiferet. So it's telling you, that this is right side, middle, and right side. Okay, and you're gonna see also that it has the silence in it as well. So which one is the one that was silent, we're gonna see that it's the Gebura. So it has the different aspect of Chesed, Tiferet, Nesat, and some Gebura in it. Okay, so you're gonna see the 3 Sefirot in there. But when you do the meditations, do not be looking at the dots as an important thing to know which forces are working here. What you need to understand is that when you meditate, you scan these letters together with the nekudim, right? Nekudot, and you just scan them. Don't try to make sense of them. You know, like this is an expansion of the name of God. This is the name of God with the vowels for Chesed. This is another name of God, which is El, which we're gonna explain the feeling of, you know, like it's like you put a name inside another name, and then the Anabekoach, right? Then this is a one word from the Anabekoach, another word from Psalm 67. You know, but you don't have to pay attention to these dots. All you have to do is scan it, and I suggest that you scan it, you know, one by one, taking your time. Some people just scan it without making any sound in their mind. Some people like to scan them, mentioning Yod, Va, Dalet, Hey, Yod, Va, Hey, Yod. Other people go He, Va, De, He, Va, He, you know, like the sound of the letter itself. You do whatever is better for you. I'm not gonna tell you here, you know, which is a perfect way, because to tell you the truth, if it works for you, it's good. Pick one. That's all. Okay? Pick one way to do that. Now, let's go for each of the days that we're gonna be meditating, and I'm gonna tell you, you know, this is what is universal out there. What is the what most rabbis will teach you about each of the days when it comes to the Sefirat Ha Omer. Okay, I have added the Spanish there for the Spanish speaking community, which have asked me to, whenever I add this, to add some kind of Spanish in it, because they're looking at these videos in English. They're looking at the translation from the YouTube closed caption, and but they don't have a translation on the screen of some of the words, or some, like the previous meditations for the 13 days, you know, that there was nothing in Spanish translated in Spanish for them. So I have done some translation here to help them out. I hope, you know, this is the beginning of future only Spanish, you know, lessons. So whoever is interested in only Spanish lessons, just go to the website www.receivingtheupperlight.com. It's right here, and go to contact and send me an email, and I will do that. Okay, I will see what we can do in order to start having lessons in Spanish. Okay, so like I said, this is the most universal version for all the days of what is actually what needs to be, you need to be concentrating on, what's the intention that day, and what needs to be corrected. So for Chesed, which is the first week, first day, right, we concentrate on the loving kindness, giving, right? We correct chaos and unfounded hate. For Gebura, we concentrate our intentions, justice, discipline, restraint. But we concentrate on also correcting being too rigid, too strict, and hating change, right? Tiferet is all harmony, but we need to correct if we're unbalanced. We're indecisive, right? We have indecisions in our lives. The fourth day is persistent ambition. Of course, good ambition, not ambition, you know, that is stepping on somebody else's foot all the time. But we need to correct fight or flight and addictions, right? Because an ambition can become an addiction. Persistent can become a fight, right? And also can become like that you run away, you don't even want to do it, right? Then what we're gonna see is that on the fifth day, we are concentrating on humbleness and devotion. And what we need to correct is resignation. In this day, basically, we concentrate on not accepting things as they are because we have the power to change things, right? God gave us a mind, and since we know that everything in the universe is mind, we change our perception of the universe we live in. We change also how the universe behave, and this is not only Kabbalah. This is quantum physics, right? You observe, and things behave differently when they are observed. Okay. In Yesod, we deal with connection and bonding, and we correct falsehood. Okay, and also I want to add here, falsehood and disconnection, not wanting to share anything. Okay, now Mahut. In Mahut is leadership, self-expression, receptiveness, right? So it's like making things happen, moving forward, making sure that things change. However, what we need to concentrate into change is the feeling of being unfulfilled and empty. So these are the things that we need to concentrate. Now, in going back to the meditation, you're gonna see some names like this. In this case, this name is an expansion. Sometimes you're gonna see expansions of the name like this one. Sometimes you're gonna see what is called fillings. That the name has been filled with another name. That's what you're gonna see here, and you're gonna see it also here as well. Let's go to this. Where do you get this name? This name is an expansion from the 4 Partsufim after the Tzimtzum, and these are the 4 Partsufim that belong to Chokmah, Bina, Zerampin, and Mahut. In this case, the Yod, He, Viv, He, which is here, belongs to Chokmah, right here, which is 72. And you're gonna see other people, that as soon as they say this, see the name 72, they're already thinking 72 names of God. Like I said, you're gonna see some meditations out there that are gonna have the 72 names of God that are related to these 49 days of the counting of the Omer. And that's also correct. But like I said, I'm giving you here a simple one. And if you want something more in depth, more, like a meditation that is more in depth, you really need to know some Hebrew. You really need to memorize a whole bunch of stuff, because mostly memorization and understand every single thing. So you don't need to do that. We're in a different age in which we don't need to do that. We need to only concentrate in what is important, and that is in something simple like this that will take the name of God, right? And it will actually get it from the nefesh to the ruach, and from the neshama to the ruach down to the nefesh. Okay, so you're gonna see these 3 over here gonna belong to the neshama. The anabe koach is gonna belong to our ruach, and the Psalm 67 is basically the malchut. It's gonna belong to our animal level of the soul. Okay. So what are the steps? And then we're gonna talk a little more about feeling of the name. So the first step is gonna be starting with blessing for the counting of the Omer. Okay, so on that day you're gonna start with that blessing. Then the second step, you're gonna come from this side to the other side. In this case is Chesed Sheba Chesed. which is chesed the chesed. So whatever it says down here is what it's saying here in Hebrew. Okay, for those of you who don't understand Hebrew, chesed the chesed is chesed she bechesed. It's chesed inside the chesed, basically. And concentrate on that intention for the day, and we're gonna have that intention in the beginning of each video. And then we're gonna meditate on the holy name, and as it is expanded, filled, things like that. And this is gonna be scanning. You're gonna scan it. Take your time scanning each letter, okay? Each letter with the dots, the nekudot, right? And then after that, we're gonna meditate on the word for that day that belongs to the Ana Bekoach. So in this case, we have Ana, right? From Ana Bekoach. Then after that, we're gonna concentrate on the word that belongs to Psalm 67. And you can read it, but I suggest letter by letter, okay? Just letter by letter. That's what you need to do. Some people do the letters, in this case, because Ana Bekoach and here Elohim, they go Ana, and then A, N, A, L, H, I, M, things like that, So it's up to you. Like I said, you choose what you want to do. So sometimes you're gonna see that you're gonna have some names like the Yohevaheh and Adonai, and then what Kabbalists do, they do something called filling the name. When they fill the name, is that they connect these two levels of the name of God, and they do it the same way. So they take the Yod from the Yod Hevaheh, then they take the Aleph from Adonai, then the Hey from the Yod Hevaheh, and they add the Dalet, and then they take the Vav, and then they add the Nun from Adonai, and then they add the last Hey from the Yod Hevaheh, and then they add the Yod from Adonai, and that's how you get a name that is filled by another day. It's basically uniting these two names. Put the Yod, the Aleph, then the Hey, then the Dalet, then the Vav, then the Nun, then the Hey, and the last letter Yod. And the same thing can be done with, which you're gonna see this a lot in some sidurs. They take the Yod and the Aleph from Ahyeh, and then they put the Hey, and they put another Hey from Ahyeh, then they have the Vav, and then they put the Yod from Ahyeh, and then they put the last Hey with the other Hey, and this is how you get right? He inside the Yod, He, and the Vav, and the He. This is how you get these names. And in some of the meditations, you're gonna see that as well. For example, this is Elohim Sebaot, and what you're gonna have is inside Elohim, you're gonna have the Yod, the He, the Vav, and the He. And then down here, you're gonna see the Yohevaheh filled with the same name Yohevaheh. So you're gonna have two Yod, two He, two Vavs, and two He. Like I said, don't pay attention to those things, but it's good, to study that and see, what forces I have here, because I have here Elohim Sebaot. Elohim Sebaot. It's basically, Geburah, right? From the side of Geburah, from that column of the left. But it has a Yod He and the Vav He, so it's telling me here that it has something of Tiferet, and then here it has something of Tiferet as well. But then it has these dots, and those dots belong to, let's go back here, to Netzach, right? And what is the meditation for what day? It's Netzach the Geburah. And where is Geburah here? So let's go back to the slide. Geburah has this Shva, which is silent, right? Do we have any Shva here? You got it right here. So you got the Netzach, and the Geburah. Let's see the example that we have. So in here is Chesed Bechesed. So Chesed Sheba Chesed. So you have Chesed, Chesed, Chesed on everything. Okay. I wish I had another example. Let me see if I can do this. But so let's look for this other meditation here. So in this meditation, what you're gonna see is let me go back to it. In this meditation, you're gonna see you have a dot in the top, a dot in the bottom. So if we go back to our chart, dot in the top is Tiferet, dot in the bottom is Netzach. What is the meditation? Which day is it? If we look, Netzach and Tifaret. Okay, so this is what those dots means. It's just a force of Netzach and Tifaret. Netzach, Tifaret. Okay, but like I said, repeating again, don't pay attention to the dots. You know, if you know the meaning of each dot, what Sefirat they belong to, good for you. Okay, but in reality, you don't need to concentrate on that. Now, let's start with the process of the meditation. Okay, this is where the practical guide starts. Basically, the first thing that we're gonna do is start with the blessing of the counting of the Omer. And what we're gonna do is we're going to do a prayer. And this prayer is the prayer for the intention for that meditation. And the prayer goes like this: Leshen yichud k'dsha brit chutei bit chuli urechimu bit chuli bichulo leyachet shem yot he vav he bevohu he beyehuda shelema b'shem kol Israel hineni muchan umezuman לקיים מצווה עשה של ספירת העומר כמו שכתוב בתורה ופרטן לכם ממחרת השבת מיום הביאכם את עומר התנופה 7 שבתות תמימות תהיינה עד ממחרת השבת השביעית תספרו 50 יום והקרבתם מנחה חדשה לאדוני והינו עם אדוני אלוהינו עלינו, ומעשה ידינו קונה עלינו, ומעשה ידינו קונהו. For the sake of the unification of the Holy One, blessed be He and His Shekhinah with fear, love, and with the love of fear, in order to unify the name of the Yod and the He and the Vav and the He with perfect unity, and in the name of all Israel, here we come to fulfill the precept of the counting of the Omer. You give satisfaction of spirit to the one who formed us and to carry the will of our Creator. And be the grace of Adonai Eloheinu upon us. Confirm then the work of our hands upon us. Yes, the work of our hands confirms. So then after that, we're going to do the blessing. And this blessing, we need to concentrate on something called the Or Makif. The Or Makif is this surrounding light, which is the light of potential, the light of this reservoir of blessing that we're going to tap into and make it an internal light. And for this, we're going to say the blessing Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kitshanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu Al Sefirat Ha Omer. Blessed are you, Adonai, or God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with your commandments and has commanded us to count the Omer. And with this, you have actually put the key into the keyhole and open the door in order to start making that blessing come down. Now, this is how it goes. So each day, one's gonna say the blessing: "Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with His commandments, and has commanded us concerning the counting of the Omer." Then you're gonna say, "Today is day such and such of the Omer." After 6 days, that's when you start including the week. Today is day one, which are, or let's say day 8, which is 1 week and 1 day of the Omer. Okay. For example, we have an example there. Today is 22 days, which are 3 weeks and 1 day of the Omer. If it was a 14th day, today is 14 days, which are 2 weeks and 14 days of the Omer. Okay? Then one concludes, "The merciful one, may he return to us the service of the temple to his place speedily in our days. Amen. Selah." And why we do that prayer? That prayer is actually when we do the counting of the Omer, and we already counted the Omer, that is going to bring that light into our vessel. What vessel? The vessel that we're working that day. And after we count the Omer, we're gonna say that, okay? So we say, "Harachaman yu hasir lanu avodat beit hamikdash lemekuma bimheira veyamenu amen selah." May the merciful restore for us the temple service in its place soon and in our days. Amen selah. And even though we're praying here for the service of a physical temple, we are working in our own internal temple when we're working with these 49 levels of spirituality that we're tapping into. So we're building this temple in which the Shekhinah is going to dwell, this temple in which we're going to be able to receive that light into that temple. It's like the Shekhinah on top of the tabernacle, and the Shekhinah on the Holy of Holies of the temple, okay? So think about that. That's a good thing to think as we do this, okay? So then after that, you do the blessing, you count the Omer, you're going to meditate on the holy name, and as it is expanded or filled, depending on the days, you got 49 versions of this, and this comes from the light of the top, basically what is called the neshama, right? And I already told you how you can scan this, how you can go one letter at a time, right? And mention the sound or just the name of the letter. You can say yod, or you can say y. You can say vav, or you can say v. You can say dalet, or you can say d. Okay? Same thing with the rest of all this. And in here, the same thing. You can say ana, or you can say n, ha. Okay? So it's up to you what you're going to do. You're going to have time to do that as we do the meditation. So there's going to be plenty of time to do that and choose whatever you want to do. Then after that, what we're going to do, we're going to meditate on the name for the Ana Bekoach. In this case, you have the Ana here, and the Ana is the first word in the Ana Bekoach. Then the second day, you're going to see Bekoach. The third day, Gedulat, So you're going to see all these as we go through. Now, something that the Sefirat Ha Omer has in common with the Ana Bekoach is that it deals with 7 levels, 7 Sefirot, right? Start with Chesed, Geburah, and all that. So the Ana Bekoach is comprised of 7 stanzas which corresponding to one of the 7 lower Sefirot. The prayer is recited during the evening service of each day of the Omer, with each stanza corresponding to the Sefirah associated with that day. By reciting the Ana Bekoach in this manner, it is believed that the practitioner can connect with the energy of the corresponding Sefirah and receive its blessing. Furthermore, the structure of Ana Bekoach is believed to represent a process of spiritual ascent, with each stanza building upon the previous one. The prayer begins with a request for divine assistance in connecting with the divine, and then progresses through the different Sefirot, culminating in a final plea for redemption and salvation. Okay? So this is what the Ana Bekoach is. Uh, and here you're gonna see the Anabekoach with the transliteration and its translation in English. Okay. If you want to pause the video here so you can read it, it's okay. If not, this is going to be in a PDF file in our website. You can print it out and all that. And that's the reason why I added also this Spanish version with the transliteration for those of you who speak Spanish and want to have it as well. Okay. Remember, this is going to be in a PDF file in the website that you can print out. So what is the next step, right? So we're with the Anabekoa. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to meditate on the word that belongs to Psalm 67 and is associated with that day of the Sefirat Ha Omer. And for that, we're going to see that if you have a Sephardic Siddur, this psalm is going to be written in the form of a menorah, which each of the verses are going to be a branch of the menorah, except the first one, which is an introduction to the psalm itself, right? Because this is a song, and this is like the direction, what instrument or who's gonna sing or for who is it, right? So Psalm 67 is also associated with the Sefirat of Chesed, which represent kindness, love, and compassion. Psalm 67 holds great significance in Kabbalah as a powerful tool for spiritual connection and blessings. Its themes of universal kindness and compassion, as well as its association with the Sefirat of Chesed, makes it a valuable resource for those seeking to deepen their spiritual practice and bring more blessing into their lives. Something important about this psalm. This psalm is also associated with the Birkat Kohanim, the blessing of the priest, or the priestly blessing. I'm not gonna go in depth into this psalm right here, but we have a lesson coming up about Psalm 67, which is a meditation as well. Because this year, I want to concentrate a lot on meditations, in practical Kabbalah, right? Something that we can use, something that we can practice at home or something like that. Not just learning, but also the practice, okay? So Psalm 67 is traditionally recited during the counting of the Omer on the 49th day, which corresponds to the Sefirat of Malchut, or kingdom. Malchut is considered the final Sefirat and the one that connects all the others. By reciting Psalm 67 on this day, it is believed that one can connect with the energy of Malchut and bring forth the blessing of the previous Sefirot into their lives. Furthermore, in Kabbalistic teachings, the number 49 holds significant spiritual symbolism. It is a product of 7, representing the 7 lower Sefirot, the Serampi and the Nuhwa, right? And 7 representing the 7 higher Sefirot. So there's a Serampi and a Nuhwa in the lower realm, and there's a Serampi and a Nuhwa in the upper realm, okay? This is, if you're studying the Zohar with us, you're going to see there's Serampi and Nuhwa, and there's 7 on the top that come from Bina, and that's Yeshud, which is Israel Saba Vetevuna, okay? By reciting Psalm 67 in the 49th day of the Omer, we can tap into this powerful spiritual energy and bring into their life. It's a connection of this Seramping and Nukhba in the bottom, right? And the Yesud, which is the Seramping and Nukhba in the top that comes from Bina. And this also is going to be in the PDF file, so you can have this psalm with you. And if you read the psalm, let's read. May God be gracious to us and bless us. May He show us favor, Selah, that we may know in earth your deliverance and ordination. But this first verse up there that says, may God be gracious to us and bless us, that sounds like the Birkat HaKohanim, right? May He show favor, Selah, right? It's very similar to the Birkat HaKohanim. It's very interesting. And then after that is about praises. People will praise you, nation will exalt and shout out for joy. You guide the nation. So there is all about praises and all that. Then what we're gonna see is that it's like here we're asking, then here we are like mixing the upper and the lower, right? Because it's like a song. It's like a feast. It's like I'm gonna put it this way. It's like here. It's like an engagement. May you marry me. Here you marry me, and here you're giving birth. Okay. May dear you its produce. May God bless us. So look at this psalm that way. Here we are betrothing ourselves with Him. Here we marry Him, and here there are childrens with Him. Okay, and when I say Him, remember God has no sex. It's just a way that we describe this force. So we can say marry it, or connecting with it, and then having some kind of fruitful or results out of this connection with the force, with the light of the Creator. Here I have the version in Spanish for those of you who speak Spanish, so you can have it in your PDF file that is going to be in the website. And like I said, that's how the meditation is all about. It's going to be the blessing of the counting of the Omer. Then we're going to be concentrating on the traits that we need to correct that day. And we're going to concentrate or meditate on the names of God associated with each of these days, the part of the Anabe Koach, and the Psalm 67 that is going to help us, like I mentioned here, help us betroth Him, marry Him, and have results out of that connection with Him. Okay? So see it that way. So I hope this little overview of how the meditation, or what the meditation is all about, and how the meditation is going to be, has actually helped everybody, and also understand something that you might have seen it before, but maybe you have not understood what it was all about, and it's the meaning of all these little dots and the letters. And even in the Torah, when you see the Torah, with these little dots, it just means that each letter has a force, let's say, of Nesach or Tifaret and things like that. So one word may have a whole bunch of different dots. Let me see. So we have L'Shem, right? So we have here, this is Geburah, right? La. So it restricts. It just Allah. It doesn't have a la, lo, lu, or anything like that. Allah, just the sound of that letter. So it restricts. Then we have an below the shin. And what is the which is the one that belongs to the right? That's bina. So you got restriction, which is geburah, and bina. But there was a little dot on the top, right? And that little top, it doesn't make a sound. It just makes a difference between and sh, right? Leshem. But it belongs to different. So you have, some kind of balancing these forces on that word only. Leshem, right? Leshem. So it's like Leshem is Geburah. It's Bina, and it's Tifaret. So it has to do with some kind of restriction, that I'm doing this for a reason, that I'm restricting myself, right? And why I'm doing this, because I'm making a yichud. And yichud, if you look at ud and the valve, yichud, unification, that means that something is going to be put on that belly, right? Something is going to be impregnated. So that's how you need to see each word when they have these dots. Each word will reveal you more about what the word actually means, and if you get that information, memorized, when you see a word, you can get a lot of information out of that word, all the Sefirat that are working on each of these letters, okay? And remember, each of these letters also belong to one of the 22 paths of the tree of life. So imagine that. That's basically Geburah of the path Lamed in the tree of life, all right? So think about that. That was just a bonus on this. Uh, so I hope this lesson, like I said, has helped you. Hopefully, you can connect with us every single day. I know it's hard to do it every single day, and like I say, if you miss one day, just do the meditation anyway. Afterwards, even if it is in a different day, connect to that day that you missed. Don't let it, go without. Don't let it go to waste. The time might not be the propitious time, but it's better late than never. It's better to concentrate on that in a different time than no time, right? Than never. So do that. So may the favor of the Lord our God be upon us. Let the work of our hands prosper and prosper the work of our hands. Okay? So may the work that we're going to perform during this Sefirat Ha Omer be fruitful for all of us. May we attain the light and attain the connection with the Creator that we all seek. Okay? And remember, this is just introduction to the meditation. If you want to know more about the Sefirat Ha Omer, there's a lesson called Kabbalah and the Counting of the Omer that is in the YouTube channel. You can find it more easy if you go to the website and you go under the holidays, Parsha, the Torah portions and the holidays, and you're gonna see it there. And it has also a not PowerPoint, but it was a PowerPoint presentation that I printed as a PDF, so you guys can have it there as well. And the link is also below in the description of this video, so I hope you enjoyed that. Until then, till the next lesson, shalom, and I'll see you next time.